I think I have always been the one to say, um, as long as you know how to dispatch, as long as you know how to um, run your freight carrier business, and you know the ins and outs, you know how to set your rate, then you will survive and thrive in the freight carrier industry. Well, I take that back. We are surviving. We're alive. We're surviving. But we are not thriving at all. I think in the past 7.5 years, this has been the worst year of them all. And there's a few reasons why. Okay? I'm going to say this right here. I am not at all racist at all. So I'm going to say this. There are some nationalities, and if you know, then you know, that has gotten into the industry that really don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to set their rates. They don't know their value. They don't know their worth. They're just hauling just to buy food to put on their table every day. They're not hauling for a business standpoint, to have reserves for maintenance when your truck breaks down, or whatever. They're hauling to put food on their table, and they're hauling just to put fuel in their tanks. It's as though people are doing it for fun. They're getting into the industry for fun. I'm not talking about the box trucks, because truth be told, although box trucks can haul and they are better on gas than semi trucks pulling 53-foot dry vans, or weighted down flatbeds. So they're really no match for us that have semi trucks. So they're not a threat. The threat is those new drivers, new carriers that's getting in the industry and do not know what they're doing. They do not know how to range their rates. They do not know how to determine the forecast. They don't know how to do any of that stuff. So when a broker calls them on a load and they say, well, I have this load, it's going 500 miles and it's paying $700. Well, that new carrier, new driver, new independent contractor, whatever you want to call it, owner, off, whatever, jumps on it. And when I say new, I'm not talking about just got in your truck. I'm talking about new as a year or two in the industry. You jump on a load that's going 500 miles, only paying $700. And I'm not talking about a back haul. I'm talking about a line haul, a front haul. They hop on it and they think that they are making money. And their only reality is, at the end of the day, if you bring anything home, you're bringing enough home to go grocery shopping for that day. And I'm talking about grocery shopping that's going to only last you for about 1, 2, maybe 3 days of food and fuel in your tank. That's it. They're not capitalizing on these loads. So in reality is, we're mad with the brokers, we're mad with the agents that's calling us and trying to give us these bad babbage loads, and we should be upset with our counterparts who have gotten into the industry and do not know anything about the industry, and they are letting them milk them dry. They're allowing the brokers to milk them dry. They are allowing them to feed them tiny little bit of the rate. So we put on these rants about the brokers, but they only do what we allow them to do. What you do not confront, you allow. So as the carriers that have been out here for a while, like myself, and have experienced this industry at the all-time high, mids, and now lows, we know better. So when we're called on a load that doesn't make sense to us, we don't accept that load. We don't accept that load because it's not worth our while. It's not that we don't accept that load because we know that somebody else is going to pick that load up. It's not that we don't accept that load because we really don't want that load because we can survive without it. We're in the business to make money, to survive, and to thrive. So would we like to have that load? Yes, we would love to have that load. We would love to stay in business. We would love to stay afloat. We would love for our bank accounts to sit fat and lovely. But bottom line is, we can't accept anything. So we let the broker know, hey, I can't accept that rate. You want me to go 500 miles for $700? Make it make sense on paper because it's not making sense on my calculator. But then when they get off the phone with us, or when they get out of our email box, they go and they find another carrier that does not know how to capitalize in the industry to accept that load, and then boom. That's what drives the market down. There is a new law about transparency, but let's be real. How many brokers are going to be transparent with you? You ask them to be transparent, to show you the rate that comes directly from the shipper. Reality is, my phone is actually dying. Sorry. Reality is, all they really have to do is say, never mind, I don't want to give you the load. And then there it is. So what we do is we sit back and we hope that they're truthful with us. And we ask them, or we don't bother to ask. We just tell them, okay, well, my rate is such and such, on this, my rate is $1,500 on this 500-mile load. I don't know what your rate is. That's not my rate. I just threw a number out there. But my rate is $1,500 on this on this 500-mile load. I cannot take it at a little less than half of what my rate is. So they find somebody that's gullible, a carrier that's gullible, and that's willing to take that run. Now, I understand if they find a carrier that where this is not a front haul for them or a line haul for them. This is a back haul for them. Okay, they may be capitalized, trying to get back home. But trust and believe, these brokers know when they call you where your terminal is. So if my home terminal is picking up where this load is picking up from, make it make sense that you want me to run this load as backhaul. It doesn't make sense to me. Am I upset with the broker for trying me? Of course. Of course. Am I upset with my other counterparts who are accepting these loads for this? Of course. Because you're allowing them to keep offering these same lanes to other carriers. And it's a bit insulting. It's a bit insulting for them to even call us on these loads and for us to accept these loads. And it's a bit insulting for you to accept these loads because we know your worth more than you do. We understand that almost everything in the U.S. is transported by trucks. Yes, you have trains, but at what percentage can they haul something on a train that goes right to your doorstep? Even when it gets off the train, it has to be transported by something. 98, 97%, if not 99%, a truck has to transport that. If it comes in off a ship, we're at the ports. So make it make sense to me as to why we are hauling this cheap freight. I won't say we because I'm not in that, because I'm not hauling. My truck has been sitting for 5 days. My truck will not move if the rate is not right. That's just where we are. Do we want to drown? Do we want to go out of business? Of course not. But it's not making sense for us. There's no one, absolutely no one, don't mention OIDA because they do nothing for the truckers. There's absolutely no one out there to fight for the truckers. They require us to pay all of this money to stay compliant. You have sky-high insurance rates that you pay every single month for a whole year on premiums. Down payments sky-high, all-time high. You could never have been in an accident in your life, whether in your personal car or in your truck You can never have an infraction on your license or anything, but you're paying insurance that seems like it never goes down. Not to even mention, I get no return from an insurance policy that I've paid into that I haven't had no accidents. Can I get a return on that at the end of the year? When my policy's up, can I get that back? No. You have fuel road tax you have to pay on, which I understand that because we're tearing up the roads. We have to pay for these waste stations that they're building constantly to cause us to come in to give us tickets, or whether it's overweight, whatever it may be. We're paying for them to punish us. Make it make sense. Diesel goes up and down, up and down. Most of the time it's up. So we're paying so much into the trucking industry, but we're getting very little out of it now. I can only speak from my perspective. I'm sure I'm not the only carrier that's out there going haywire. Y'all got to forgive this back here because I had to have that installed, and it's kind of aggravating me right now to see that, but it's still a work in progress. But here's the thing. I am frustrated because people only see us from the outside. They don't think about us on the inside. These brokers and these agents, they go home to their families every single day. They're able to provide for their families every single day. They're not lacking anything because bottom line is, I'm getting the load from the shipper at the rate I want to get it from. And I'm calling this carrier to take this load at the rate I want to give them. And it's peanuts. I don't consider their fuel. You mention fuel to a broker, that's all you're supposed to get out of the load technically. That's the response. That's not the response you get. That's the feeling you get from the response. Is that, oh, it's enough to cover your fuel. What about my maintenance? What if I have a blowout? What if my truck breaks down? Hopefully it doesn't, but even the newest of trucks break down. I'm not able to repair my truck. I'm not able to pay somebody to come and fix my tire. If I do, that's all my load. So technically, I ran this load for you for free. But the new carriers that's jumping in the industry, oh, I want to be a carrier. I want to be a truck driver. But they're not understanding what all comes along with this. And it's not making sense to me. I've talked to several carriers, several owner-ops that's doing their own thing. And nobody is able to make sense of what's going on in the industry right now. It is extremely heartbreaking for those that love the trucking industry. Those that love to drive. It's really heartbreaking for those that's all they've done all their life is drive, and now they can't even make it in the industry. All we wanted was a trucking business. That's bottom line. That's why we got in it, right? All we wanted was a trucking business. We got it. We got the trucks. We got the trailers. The loads don't make sense no more. So what? You sell your truck? You sell your trailer? That's easy to do. Sounds good. You can come up for a little while. But right after you do that, what are you going to do? You got to go find a job. You have to go work for somebody. Because that little bit of money that you got off your truck and trailer in this economy, now that everybody's selling that stuff, it's not going to last you to December of this year. Because you still have rent. You still have a grocery bill. You probably still have a car note. You probably still have car insurance. If you have children, you have to take care of them. You have utilities. So, again, make it make sense. So, bottom line, sorry you guys probably hear my dog. I'm dog sitting for my daughter. But bottom line is, to those new carriers, if you don't know how to operate in the industry, don't be afraid to reach out to some carriers that may be veterans, that know how to sit and gauge the forecast, that knows how to set their rates as per mile and also as per gallon as to what they're going to take out in their fuel and how much you're going to get on the outer end after you've ran that load, what you're going to bring home. Don't be afraid to reach out to nobody, because we're here. Don't. Know your worth in this industry. Know that if all the owner ops, all the small freight carriers I'm not telling you to do this, park their trucks and say, we're not moving for at least one day, this economy, freight, it's going to ring in somebody's ears. Somebody will hear us, because those bigger carriers, Warner, Snyder, etc., they can't haul all the freight. This is why they even post a lot of their loads, or they even reach out to outsource a lot of their loads, because they don't have the capacity to haul all the freight in the U.S. In addition to that, small loads, they don't even want. They don't want like that. So they outsource. So know that you are a very important part in the freight industry. You just have to know how to play your part. And accepting cheap freight, that's not playing your part. That's selling out. And it's not only hurting you, it's hurting us too. So next time a broker calls you about cheap freight, if you don't want to consider yourself, please consider us, who would rather not do it and rather sit home and hope that something comes about. I'm not only talking about that. I have brokers I've been working with over 7.5 years. It has been so many times where I haven't even had to go to the load board. They will call me because they know that they're willing to accept me for my rate. These same brokers, a lot of them, some of them don't call anymore. Some of them call and they call with, I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting that. I'm sorry. It's an all-time high of inflation on every single thing that we have to deal with in life as it relates to paying. So why should I accept your cheap freight? It doesn't make sense to me. We love y'all. Old carriers, new carriers, we love you. We love you to life. But if you don't know how to do it, you need to reach out to somebody that does, so we can help you not only to live and survive, but to thrive in this industry. All right. Bye.